Lately, I've noticed how easy it is to give away our radiance without even noticing. And it's not coming from being weak, it's coming from growth, coming from shifting who we are and to then being in the presence of people who've maybe known us for a long time. Yes, of course, self awareness definitely helps. But I think when we're shifting and growing, we're starting to test again, where are those boundaries? Where are we going into this new version of ourselves that's not yet arrived in this reality in terms of maybe what we're showing up in the outside world, but we've still got this profound experience and knowledge and wisdom from other things that we've done in the past. So it's not from the fact that we're not hugely capable human beings, but it's just that noticing of where are we giving our power away? Where are we dimming our light? Where are we getting drawn into someone else's aura rather than standing in our own aura, our own electromagnetic field? If you're new to this YouTube channel or this podcast, every week I just share reflections from what I've noticed from my week as someone who is in business, owns multiple businesses, but also is very much about conscious living and has started to step into more of that slow living. So just slowing down, but bringing in that heightened awareness. But that doesn't mean overthinking. So I'll share with you what are my 3 ways that I know I've given my radiance away, just in case it's insightful and helpful to you listening in. Measuring myself against all timelines, the person who created success and other businesses in the past. 2, letting other people into my auric space so I can find myself speeding up to their way of living and seeing and believing, and that almost chaotic fast pace when that just does not work for me. Also, that can include boundaries as well, not being boundaried in a way that I know is beneficial for me rather than what's beneficial for them. And also, if you're known as that capable one, especially in your circle of friends, especially people who've known you for a long time, you can be the person then that carries and holds things, or you can be the person that's just not needed to be looked out for. I think this is really common, especially in that high achiever sort of circle. And so you can feel that maybe you're not considered in certain aspects. And so it can feel like a dimming of your radiance. And number 3 is just forgetting your power. Honestly, the amount of coaching calls I do with people, and the first thing that comes out from the coaching is that remember who that you are. Remember who you are. Remember everything that you've done, everything that you're capable of, and how you can do one thing is how you can do everything. If you've moved to another country, if you started a business, if you've created a family, everything has been created from a skill set, and that's still within you, even though it might not be reflected right now in this moment because you've changed path, you've moved to a new country, something's different. Not forgetting who you are and how capable you are. So I'd love to touch on boundaries because a lot of people say to me that I'm really good with boundaries. And honestly, it's something I've definitely worked on. It wasn't something that I was always good at. But what I realized was I needed to understand where my boundaries were before I could teach and show other people where they are. And how are other people supposed to know if I don't even know? And I think the way to test boundaries, in my experience, is that it's this like pendulum swing. So I've gone one way and then I've gone right to the other way. And then by doing that, I found like the middle ground. And when you find where your boundaries are, whether it's in relationships, in health, in career, in lifestyle, and knowing that, and you can journal on it and ask yourself these questions: where are my boundaries? What works for me? What do I need based on the person I am today, not the person who I was? All of those things are all obviously super helpful. But when you know your boundaries, you can then move them. But it's coming from a place of awareness. I'm aware that I'm moving them and shifting them rather than I've been pushed. My work this way or they've been pushed that way. So I might set my boundaries here in front of me, and I might actually decide to move that boundary closer to someone and allow my boundaries to soften. Or I might decide to actually firm up my boundaries. And I get to choose that. You get to choose that. As a sovereign being, you get to choose where they are. And you're allowed to choose different boundaries on different days. Yes, it does definitely take communication. Don't expect people just to know that. And not feeling guilty for having boundaries. That's a really clear thing that I think a lot of people have to work on. But again, I guess that comes with that confidence. And also, I think it comes from, for me personally, is not connecting. Having no boundaries means you're kind and therefore means you're more liked. because honestly, I don't think men think like that. I think it's definitely more of a female thing to consider. Is that we're not kind if we have boundaries, and maybe that's something that's a bit of a conditioning as young girls growing up. I won't go into that, that's for another time. You could even consider where are those boundaries being taught and what stories you need to let go of. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's definitely that awareness, and also not beating yourself up when in a moment you didn't have an awareness. I know for me, if I'm in a situation where, like I said, I feel rushed and suddenly we're on to the next thing or to the next topic, or suddenly we have to move and I feel like I'm clambering away at like picking up all my stuff, or oh, we jumped to another conversation, I'd not quite ended that one. If I get lost in that and get caught up in somebody else's vortex, then when I walk away, it's about reflection. It's about, okay, what can I do next time? Okay, I know what I need to do. It's about breathing. One, it's about having awareness. Two, it's about taking some deep breaths. Three, it's about taking control of the conversation you want to have. Even just asking, do you mind if we just slow down a little bit? That's okay. And you know what? Just honoring who you are and not having to slide to someone else, what someone else needs. Like I mentioned, I've really started to embrace slowing down, and that's been so beneficial for me. But I definitely wasn't always like that. I really was quite the opposite. But, we grow and we change and we age and we appreciate different things. And when I've been in beautiful countries, I've slowed down, I've tapped into nature more, and it's created more for me by doing less. And we live in this world where it is feel rushed and other people have got maybe more going on. But there's something beautiful and pure about owning who you are, knowing how capable you are, and going out there as the person you are today, but knowing of all that skill and that wisdom, that knowledge you've got from behind you that you can take with you. Take it, ditch the stories from the past that didn't help and don't serve you, but everything you know is rooted in that wisdom and that knowledge. Bring with you, because if you're listening to this and you're 30, 40, 50 somethings plus, you've lived and you've got experience, and that's value. That's so much value. So never forget who you are. Practice expanding your aura, and you can shrink it, but shrinking it because you want it, because you want a bit of a quiet moment, not because you're feeling like someone else is making you shrink. Don't give your power to someone else. Stand in your power, because that's where it is, inside. I really hope this has been helpful. I like to keep these really short because, got other things to listen to, really, haven't you? If it is helpful, like I say, like, comment, share. Thank you for joining me for this Radiant Reflections. Honestly, it's just a chance to just come on here and just share a few minutes of what I've learned in the week, and we'll see where it goes. That's it. No agenda, just love sharing in case it's helpful for anyone else. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I hope to see you next week. Bye. Ooh, let's have a read of this. Hang on. Bless every soul and stand by every moment. I'm just reading my tea. Oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, stand by. Stand by you and stand by your moments. Cheers.